Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jack Gately, your host, and this is the 1620 Today podcast, and you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and at 1620 Today. I believe this is our 6th episode, Beth. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
I'm great.
What happened to our background, by the way?
It didn't happen. I went to Staples. It was going to be like $300.
We don't have that kind of budget here.
Yeah, this show does not have.
We're like NPR.
Well,
right?
at least they get money from the government.
That's true.
This is not NPR.
We're definitely not getting money from the government.
Our guest today is restaurateur, entrepreneur, all-around great guy in Plymouth, singer in a band, owner of Angelo's Roast Beef, or as I like to say, Roast Beast, Rich Monsini. Welcome to the show, Rich.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Good to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming. So, Rich, I first met you, I think, when you were looking for an apartment. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was God, 6 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
Something
probably.
like that. Yeah. I have to say though, real quick. First of all, you need to have a background that says "Bing Bang Boom." Number one.
Absolutely.
And that's because that's
That's my slogan.
slogan.
Yeah. That's what we're all about: the bing, the bang, and the boom.
I love the bang.
And for those of us who don't know, Angelo's Roast Beef is right here, actually, on the first floor of this building. So we're building mates.
Isn't that's something that's special for you guys? Right?
It is special because now we can. There's only a few steps to get lunch.
Absolutely. But you also have to be careful. You said Roast Beast. There actually used to be a restaurant in Boston called Roast Beast, but they're no longer in business. They were shut down.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to be associated with that.
Wow.
I remember in Buzzy's Roast Beef.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buzzy's.
Late night buzzies.
Yeah, Liberty Bell, Beachmont, Riley's, Kelly's, Mike's, Nick's. There's a lot of them. There's a lot. But on the South Shore, there's only a few. And I'm happy to say that a couple of years ago, the Boston Globe did a poll, and we were voted number 1 on the South Shore and number 2 in the state of Massachusetts for our sandwich in just a short time, because there's a well-known, the restaurant that took the first place spot, the number 1 spot, is Harrison's up in Andover, but they've been in business
North
for 30
Andover,
years.
I will add, because
So,
that's my hometown.
For me to be, that's awesome.
Yeah.
For me to be voted number 2 in the state in just such a short time, 6 years in business, is pretty special.
Wow.
Yeah, Harrison's. We've been to Harrison's.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That was the place where all the high school kids back in the 80s would go to find out where the parties were.
Yeah.
Everyone went to Harrison's.
Oh, yeah.
But not that I would like to bash another business, but I think it's been a long time since I've eaten there. Their other foods aren't as good as like your other sandwiches.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm serious.
We have
It's been
some
a long
signature
time.
sandwiches that are special, so I
My
appreciate that.
North Andover friends are gonna hate me for that. They probably won't watch anyway.
Well, as you know, my favorite's the Reuben.
I know that.
Yeah.
Pastrami,
Sure.
close second.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, so Rich, we first met each other like you were looking for an apartment. I was just starting my business, my real estate business on my own, for a short time doing that. And you were looking for an apartment here in Clifton Street or something like that. Remember that? Do you remember that?
I ended up moving up to Sandwich Street. Ironically, Sandwich Street.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago, and I remember you kind of, when you were there with me at the apartment, you were, this apartment wasn't for you, but then you told me like what you needed for an apartment, but then you actually started to tell me a little bit about your business and how you were kind of trying to make it on your own. And so you have this Angelo's Roast Beef, or right down, now you've got this iconic location, right? You're basically at the corner of Main and Main.
We are, like you said, an iconic location on the oldest street in America. Originally called First Street and now Leiden Street. I don't know how long it's been Leiden, but it's been that for quite some time now. And I find it to be very special to be the only restaurant on the oldest street in America.
That's true.
It's pretty cool.
That's true. And I think most people do say Leiden, but it actually is Leiden.
Is it? Well,
Yeah.
If you read the book Mayflower, they...
look at the brain
Yeah,
on Beth.
it's
Look at
true.
that.
I know, because people look at me like I'm crazy when I say Leiden, but it is.
All right.
Anyway,
So it's Leiden.
Just to clarify, yes.
Leiden. Okay. But there wasn't always that way. You didn't always have this perfect location for a restaurant. And tell us give us a little bit of the Rich Monsini backstory.
Okay.
Because I remember when you were looking at that apartment, I kind of remember that you had this other place that didn't work out. So running a restaurant's it's a risky proposition.
It's definitely a challenge. And I remember that apartment you showed me. I believe it was like the 3rd story in a very historical area. That was a
right
jump.
down
You
the
don't
street.
own that still, do you?
No, I never owned it.
Okay, yeah, you were renting it out.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish we owned it.
No, that was a few years back, and I was in search of finding something for my son and I. Speaking of my son, my business is named after my son. That's Angelo himself.
It was birthday yesterday.
He had his birthday yesterday, which is really nice. I took him and his girlfriend to Boston, and we had a nice steak dinner.
Nice.
So it was really a good time. So I'll tell you real quick. My business started back in 2014. I always had a dream to one day open up a restaurant. I opened up a pizzeria called Monsini's Family Pizzeria. I didn't do my homework on the area, and it was short-lived. It only lasted a year and a half, but shortly, just before I closed, I decided to introduce a roast beef sandwich, and I figured I'd feature it, featuring Angelo's famous roast beef. I had my son sample a few different things, and he loved it, and I knew that it was something special. So I kept it rolling, and it helped my business a little bit, but I needed to close down because it just wasn't the location wasn't working for me, in hopes of reopening somewhere else, and that was Plymouth. Actually, that's where I was living. My restaurant was in Middleborough. I had my eye on a location down on the waterfront in Plymouth, and I found a little kiosk, and it was just seasonal. So the seasonal operation was from April until right around the parade of the Thanksgiving parade in November. And it was great. And after 2 years, I was approached by a well-known business owner in town. And he had said I made a really good name for myself, that he'd like to give me an actual location, year-round location, which is where we stand now at 5 Main Street, downtown Plymouth. And it's officially Angelo's famous roast beef and deli.
And I remember eating at the kiosk down by the waterfront.
Yes.
And, I mean, that place was it was like the size of a...
Was it the place that also had the lobster rolls, or was it different?
I did do
Remember that
lobster
little-
rolls for a
By
short
the
time.
Governor Bradford or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
Okay.
part of the Governor It was the pool shack for the Governor Bradford
Okay,
pool.
so I'm thinking of
Originally,
the-
the pool shack, it had been known for like a tourist info booth.
Right.
It was a hot dog shack.
Right.
But in the 2 years I had conducted business there, I was approached by all the locals, and they said that my roast beef shop, which, I mean, I had a line down the street every day. They said it was the busiest operation that had ever run in that one little
awesome.
Yeah,
unit.
easily.
It was cool.
And, of course, everything comes back to the quality of the food that you have.
Yeah.
That's your reputation. You go to Angelo's, you're going to eat well.
Absolutely. I spend the most money for my product. I don't cut any corners. You guys get what you pay for.
The pool shack, that wasn't much bigger than a toll booth.
Yeah, it was small.
It was pretty small.
Like, yeah, it was round. It was like 10 feet around in a circle.
Is
Like
it gone now?
Oh yeah, they demolished it
Yeah,
and
that's-
turned that into apartments, and
Yeah.
there's a new restaurant inside that building that's going to be opening up.
Really? I didn't know that.
You should have went down there and grabbed a brick. It just
I know,
Wasn't
right?
your name.
That would have been
I
kind
never
of funny.
thought about that, Jack. Good thought. I
Like
have
people want the bricks from the smokestack. You could have had a Governor Bradford pool shack brick.
Yeah.
yeah, I actually have a brick from the Boston Garden when they tore that down.
I think my cousin has one of those.
I've seen people
Yeah.
have chairs.
Yeah, I think I picked
Yeah.
it up for him in the city.
We lived right around the corner from the garden while they were tearing it down.
Oh, okay.
We used to walk to work and be able to see into it.
Oh,
as
the dust for like weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, and I worked in the Big Dig back in 1999, 98, and they were
Yeah.
tearing the
Yeah,
garden down.
that's
back
when
we
then.
lived there.
That's when we lived there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
right on
Had to keep our windows closed for like weeks
on Prince Street.
because the dust
Oh,
was just
okay.
coming
We used to live
through.
on Prince Street.
But
yeah.
on that end, anyway.
Right.
So you go through this process of having a restaurant in Middleborough that doesn't happen, and then how long was it between you had the restaurant in Middleborough to when you were able to open the next location, which was the Shack on the waterfront?
Well, I took a year off. I'm a carpenter by trade, so for about 30 years I did carpentry. But my story goes with the roast beef. I mean, people ask, like, how'd you come up with the idea? Well, when I was around 17 or 18 years old, I have family from East Boston, and they used to invite me to a place called Riley's Roast Beef.
I've been to Riley's, sure.
And Riley's, they were open till 3 o'clock in the morning. So here I am, 17, 18 years old. I fell in love with this place, and as the years went on, I would invite my friends. And my friends, now I'm 21 years old or whatever, and we would take trips at 1 o'clock in the morning because they were open till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I always thought, why am I driving this far? Why don't they have something like this special on the South Shore? And there were a couple of restaurants that are no longer in business. Mario's, which was in Brockton, Merrimack's, which was in Stoughton. I grew up going to those, but Riley's was special. They had the grilled onion roll, and the roast beef was just the best. So fortunately, I have a family member that owns a bakery in Brockton, and that's where I get my breads now, is onion rolls, my Texas marble rye, my Vienna sub rolls. All my breads come from them.
The onion rolls are fabulous.
And then my barbecue
That's my
sauce
favorite.
comes from Oklahoma. And unlike all these other places that on the North Shore, they use a typical James River. Mine's a secret recipe made for my sandwich.
I worked at a sub shop on Beacon Hill
okay.
for a while, making sandwiches, and definitely sandwich starts with the bread.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If your bread's wrong, your sandwich is wrong.
I've got the best. I mean, even to the gluten-free bread. Most people like that have celiac and they have to have gluten-free bread. You find these cheap loaves or these small, very, very small gluten-free loaves in the supermarket. But mine is a special multi-grain gluten-free bread.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to try that.
When you worked as a carpenter, did you work for yourself, or were you part of a union, or how did that work?
I started off in the union somewhere around 1990, and then as the years went on, I was kind of going back and forth union to doing my own small jobs, and then in 2000, I ended up opening up my own construction company, and then a roofing company, and then when things slowed down again, I went back into the union. So I was fortunate enough to keep my book up to date, and be able to go back and forth, bouncing back and forth.
So you've always kind of been on this. I find that people that work for themselves, they either have never worked for anybody else, or they've been on a long trajectory. And this is kind of, I have the same thing. It took me a long time to actually get to work for myself.
Yeah.
But now that I do, I find that it's like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. Well, it takes a lot in a person to be able to talk to people and conduct business and become an owner of a business, whether you're a carpenter or a restaurant owner. For me, I've always been a people person. When I was 19 years old, I started coaching sports well before my son was born. I always had an interest in sports, and I was coaching youth sports. And to this day, I'm still friends with a lot of those kids. They're in their 40s, and it's like they call me coach, and they make me feel old.
Yeah.
But, even back then, whether it's before the game, I'm giving them a pre-speech or a post-speech, I always enjoyed inspiring them and letting these kids know that, giving them confidence and building up their self-esteem. And I took that into when I became a dad. I did the same thing with my son. I coached my son from as early as when he was able to stop playing his own sports at the age of 7, from t-ball up until high school. And I coached all of his teams. T-ball, baseball, basketball, football, and all those teams that I coached, he had teammates, and they were my players, and I could talk to these kids, and so I just learned a lot. I really enjoyed doing that. I would have loved to have coached in high school, but I didn't have time for that. I had to own a business and run a business, and keep my family going. But then I've been a musician. I've always been a singer, but I've been a musician for about 15 years now. Being a front man, being a singer in a band, you've got to know how to please the crowd, talk to the crowd, make the crowd feel comfortable, even between songs, just keeping them interested in what I'm doing. So, and then, the same thing with the restaurant business. I like to stay in touch with my customers and keep them up to date on what I'm doing, what specials I have, what am I doing this week? I might be giving away free cookies or a free sandwich or I love giving back to the military, first responders, anywhere from the postman to hospital workers and police officers and firemen. We're always doing the most we can to give back to the community, and just it makes me feel good. I get this from my mom. My mom was a giver. She wasn't a taker. She was selfless, not selfish. So I grew up under her roof, and that's what keeps me going every day is her strength. She passed in 2019, but I made a promise to her. She was super proud of me. I made a promise to her to always keep going and never give up.
As she should. I'm sure she was proud.
Yeah.
So, Rich, obviously COVID had an effect on many businesses, all businesses. How did you get through, I guess?
COVID did affect a lot of business. It did affect me in a small margin. It was, we have mostly takeout. We're a mostly takeout restaurant, but we do have 8 chairs. So every business that was shut down. So, but people understood. The thing why it didn't hurt me is because I don't have alcohol sales. A lot of restaurants rely on their alcohol sales.
Right.
And with me, everybody wants a sandwich. So I had to kind of build myself this area and close the front door, and we were passing food through a tarp, clear plastic, to keep the distance, social distance, 6 feet, and it worked for us. We were doing some deliveries, and I don't know, we were able to get through it. I didn't have any layoffs. I was fortunate to not have to lay anybody off, and we just kept plugging away and doing and following all the rules, that whether it was state mandate or the town, even because sometimes every town is different. Every town's a little stricter, and I just follow the rules. I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to turn anybody away. It's just like politics. I'm an independent. I hope for the best. I hope that, if you're a good guy, you're a Republican, and you can you get landed that position and you can make this country better, that's great. If you can do it as a Democrat, then good for you. I just want the best, and I hope for the best.
So now that the virus restrictions are gone, now you have this other thing, which is, and I've seen stories about the price of meat going up.
Not just meat.
But like inflation. So I'm thinking meat is the biggest thing that's gone up for you. But you tell us, what's gone up the most in terms of the product that you buy?
Yes, probably the roast beef. The price of cows are going up. The price of everything's going up. The transportation is because these trucking companies and where the product's coming from, the plants, everything is just going up, and it's reflecting all of our businesses. So I was shopping a few weeks ago. Actually, about a month ago, I needed to move my prices a little. So I went up such a small margin because I feel for people. I really do not like to raise my prices because I know that, people's wallets are already hurting. So I literally went up 10 cents on everything. And then I went shopping a week later, and noticed the prices had gone up even more. And I was like, I can't handle this anymore. So, of course, I went on to my social media page, my business page, Angelo's Famous Roast Beef and Deli, on Facebook and Instagram, and I made an announcement that I just, as much as it kills me, it really hurts me, there's nothing I can do, because I haven't changed the rate of my employees. I'm not bringing them from $17 an hour down to minimum wage. I can't do that.
Right.
All my costs are going up, so I have to go up. And it's really, and people have been supporting
Yep.
me. They've been amazing.
I saw that post. and
Business
I
has
think I
been
commented
getting
on it too, and
better
it was-
and better. It's really good right now. It's not great because we're still missing the tourists. Some tourists are back. Not a lot of when I say tourists, even people from out of state. Different. A lot of people from Philadelphia. It's kind of strange. Philadelphia has been showing up in our house, but out of the country, over in Europe, Europeans, we haven't seen too many. Some, but not too many. Not like the norm.
Huh. That's very interesting. So tourism, just in terms of the foot traffic,
Yeah.
you're not seeing as much of it. The outdoor dining, Beth, you had a question about outdoor dining.
I just wanted your view on. Do you have any out? I don't see any. Oh, you
I
have a
have,
couple of tiny little tables out there.
Yes, I just offer the two little round tables in front of my store, so I can fit like 4 or 6 people out there. The outdoor dining is pretty popular downtown Plymouth, but in my location, I was granted a spot, but I decided to turn it down, even though it probably would have helped my business a little. But also, I only did it for the mere fact of safety for my customers. I'm on a little difficult corner.
Yeah.
There are some 18-wheeler trucks that round that corner. Even yesterday, I noticed this truck come around the corner, and if I had that area, it would have been a mess.
Yeah.
It would have
I think
caused
that was probably a smart.
it would have caused the traffic jam. And then I think about the smoke and the diesel fuel in the air, and I think about the customers more than anything, So you either get takeout, sit in your car, go down by the water, grab a little table and chair out front, which
Right.
is right next to my
Nice little
building.
park bench
That's
over
what you're
here.
on it.
Little park bench. I seen this guy Jack Gately sitting out there one day having a sandwich in front of the beautiful church right there. Both churches.
When you're on a corner like that, I think with a light,
Yeah,
four-way light or whatever you want to call it, it's tricky. That's a tricky location. You're right.
I love the indoor dining I have. The setup is great because
Yeah.
it's all glass and you
Right.
can just people watch. It's
Exactly.
pretty
I
cool.
ate there about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I think I'll just sit here, just a different perspective.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
One thing is, you said, it's all about the customer, and we were talking about inflation. A lot of companies, especially the big companies, one of the things that they can do is actually offer a smaller serving size. You haven't done that.
Yes, I have.
Oh, well, I
Well,
haven't noticed.
Yes. So I didn't change. I'll tell you about the bing, the bang, and the boom.
Okay.
So the bing, bang, boom is our sizes: small, medium, and large. That's what that means. If you were to go up to the North Shore, what they offer is a junior beef, a big beef, and a super beef. When I opened up my business when I opened up on the waterfront, Angelo's Famous Roast Beef, I had a month to come up with a menu, and I just sat down one day and I thought about it, and it was just roast beef then, and something just came to me, and I said, I'm going to be unique, and I come up with the bing, the bang, the boom, and then a 1-pound sandwich called the Forget About It. And it's been great. People love it. We have a signature topping called the 3-way. So a lot of times we have customers come in and they chuckle when they say, "Can I have a bang 3-way or a bang 4-way?" It's just kind of
Sounds
funny.
like you were a Sopranos fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Disrespect
But
the
you
bang.
haven't made your sandwiches smaller in
Yes.
response to inflation.
No, I have, because
Okay.
when I opened up this deli, I needed to create a menu that was going to be more for a restaurant rather than a kiosk, and I added more sandwiches. We added the Mayflower, which represents the Plymouth Mayflower. That's a Thanksgiving sandwich, and that's a one-size sandwich. Then we decided to offer a Reuben, which is called the 1620, which tells you, I mean, that's what Plymouth is all about, the 1620, the year it all started. And that is also a one-size sandwich. And then a downtown pastrami. These are all, well, the downtown pastrami, the Reuben, those are on Texas marble rise, and the Thanksgiving sandwich comes on a plain roll. Recently, I decided to take those sandwiches and offer that anybody can make those any size they want. They can get it in a bang or boom size, rather than sticking with the one size.
Mind blown.
All right, so that's wow. Okay,
Well, I don't need a large
but that's
size.
customer option.
Yes, it's not. It doesn't say it on the menu, but I did make a notice of it. I brought it to everybody's attention on my social media page. Maybe I should add it to the menu so they can see.
So tell us a little bit about, this is my question I wanted to ask, is that on social media, you know, we're Irish, right? So from, or Irish American or whatever, you know, I've never even been to Ireland, but
I have.
as a man, you know, culturally, we don't share our feelings. I mean, we're not going to talk about our feelings, and we're certainly not going to put our feelings on Facebook. You know, we might put the photo of the kid going off to school, but we're not going to like share what we're really think. Why would we do that?
I know, right? Yeah.
But one thing that is that I find inspirational about you is that, you know, I can read a post that you put up about a sandwich that you put up, or the fact that we're going to be opening special hours, or, you know, or whatever. But I also, a lot of your social media is like, wow, Rich just told me exactly what he's feeling about today. And, you know, he's missing his mom, or he's having trouble with you know, how do you, I don't have the transparency.
Yeah.
And it is inspiring. I think secretly for a lot of men, we can't do that.
Well,
how do you do it?
basically, I hate to say that I don't care, but because I do care. I care about people, and I speak the truth. Sometimes I just start typing things, and I let it out. I don't let it all out. I don't let everybody know everything. I don't share every photo, but I will tell and explain. I've been through a lot. Let's just put it that way in my life. I would never ever say I'm better than anyone or I'm worse off than anyone. I never do that. I think I'm as equal as everyone else. But I'm not afraid to speak what's on my mind. I will tell you like it is, whether it's on social media or in person. I mean, I don't know. I just have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence in myself and who I am, and because I've been through so much in my life. I mean, I think we've all maybe have been betrayed or lied to or cheated on, or, you know, I started telling you a little while ago, you know, my mom, I have a tattoo of my mom right here. And she passed in 2019, March 31st, 2019. And she taught me everything in life: how to cook, how to care, how to love. And so I see some stuff, trust me, Jack, just like yourself. You see some people on Facebook saying some things that just shouldn't be said. And, you know, I'm not going to really get into it, but I will say that I take care of my special needs brother. When my mom passed, he had nowhere to go, so I brought him home. And it's been a challenge. But I put a great team together, caretaking team, to help me with that. Had I not done that, then I would have crumbled if I didn't have that, or I would have had to surrender my brother to the state, which he would have been living in a group home or a hospital or something, because there's nothing available. So I had expressed my feelings in my heart a few times about some family that I felt that should have been there for me, and they weren't. I know I've realized that not because anybody said anything to me. I just realized that I said what I had to say in the beginning when it hurt, and I let it out. And most of those people that I'm friends with on Facebook, I think I might be friends with 1,500 people, and I'm still friends with them today. They all know me. They all get it. They all understand, and they all support me. And I said what I said. I have no regrets in what I said. But that's just, one part. I share my music. I share my passion for my music, and I'm not afraid to show pictures of me bodybuilding because that's my other passion. I love lifting weights.
That was
I
on
wanted to
our
ask
list.
you about the band.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Beth, because Beth can sing.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
You
Okay.
could come up on stage with us anytime.
I'll try. It's been a while.
She
but
can
it's fun.
she can really sing.
That's awesome.
So you're in more than one band?
I am in two bands. I'm a lead singer, front man for a band called Chaotic. We're a classic rock, alternative rock band. I've been doing it for 15 years, but I've been with these guys for about 3 years now. And let's just say we're touring the South Shore, which would be restaurants and bars.
Awesome.
And anywhere we can get a gig. We're
the
playing
name.
tomorrow night at a really cool, fun venue called iGolf in Pembroke. That's tomorrow night, May 27th at 8 p.m. We'll play for like 4 hours.
Does the band have a separate website?
Chaotic. You can find it in the groups page, and
Okay.
you'll see videos of us playing out. And we're still adding to it all the time. We're trying to get the people to share it and like it and follow it. So
I like the little snippets that you put up there, like the rehearsal snippets.
yeah,
They're pretty cool.
yeah.
They're pretty cool.
I love the name. I love the name of the band.
Because it's kind of like
That's
I
life.
can kind of see Rich's
Yeah.
life as being kind of chaotic.
Chaotic, yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
But then there's I have an acoustic group called Coin Toss. You like us or love us, it's a coin toss, right? And we'll be May 28th this Saturday at the very cool Roll Street Tavern. Sometimes
Right out the
we're-
window.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
can see it back here. We're a 2-piece and sometimes 3-piece acoustic, and it's a lot of fun. We've got some really cool venues coming up. The Public House down
Oh, good.
on the old BBC
Yep.
down on South Plymouth, and Cabbie Shack, and all kinds of really cool venues.
I remember since we're here both in downtown, and it was about closing time for Angelo's roast beef, and this was just when I had maybe only been here for 2 or 3 months, sometime last spring, and there was a band that played on the street, down the street there, and I was walking out, and you were walking out of the building, and it was like the first time you had heard like a band outside because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And people, I walked down there. I saw you walking. Now you were about 20 yards ahead of me, and like everyone flocked down to them. And it was just two girls with guitars, and it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
the power of that. Like,
That's the beauty of music. It's like universal. Like everybody.
yeah, the people.
everybody- It makes everybody
It was
instantly happy.
amazing how many people walked down there just to listen to them. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, thank God we can play
I know.
outside.
I didn't jump in and sing with them.
No, I don't know. I didn't hang around.
I
was on
do
my way
that
to
a
the
lot of
car.
times. People tell me they've heard me sing opera out in the streets before.
Oh,
It's
God.
true.
like
I
to hear
grew up
that.
singing opera. Elvis was my passion. He got me into music.
Yeah.
Just following him, and
His voice was just
Which-
unbelievable.
yeah. Oh, they got a new movie
wanna
coming
see the
out.
new movie, yeah.
Yeah, it looks
A
good.
new Elvis movie?
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Get off the politics page, dude.
called Taking Care of Business.
Okay.
Is that
I
what it's
believe
called?
that's the name of it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even
Well,
know that.
we're
I heard
take-
it was really good.
We're taking Will to college, and we're going to Memphis, and I'll be taking him to Graceland this year.
Nice. I
He
can't-
went to Graceland on Elvis's birthday a few years back.
Really?
And got cake.
You got free Elvis cake.
You got a piece
That's
of Elvis's
awesome.
birthday cake.
They-
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
January
Yeah,
9th.
my dad was born on the same day.
So let's wrap it up. And what are the fitness tips that you have? Because
We can't be eating
could
those Reubens. And
you eating your own sandwich?
doesn't look like it.
Because I could use some fitness tips.
You've got
I'm
the
not
height,
just
too.
saying it, but I eat a sandwich every single day. Whether it's roast beef or pastrami, I do. I used to eat 2 a day, from my shop, but now I still eat one a day. And the only tip I can give you is stay consistent. You have to dedicate yourself to the gym. You have to go 5 or 6. I go 6 days a week. Sometimes I go twice a day. How do I do that running the business? Well, I've got good employees that I can plug in to allow me to do that. I'll go before work, or I'll go after work, or I'll do both.
Are you going to go to the gym on a day that today is just beautiful outside?
Well, I built the gym in my backyard during COVID, so I also have that on beautiful days. I might skip the gym because it's too nice to be indoors when I can just go home and work out on my own.
Sure.
I have everything I need, a squat rack, a bench,
Yeah.
everything. So you really need to apply yourself, get in there for 40 minutes, put in the headphones, whatever you got to do, and just stay focused. I'm not talking about just the treadmill, lifting weights. I eat anything and everything. And I'm not going to take my shirt off, but
We just lost
This is a
half our
family
audience.
show. This is a family show.
no.
Half our audience
it
is
just
disappointed
feels
now.
good to feel good, and I understand not everybody. I'm sure that genetics plays a part with me. My son follows in the footsteps with me. He's lean and mean. My dad wasn't into fitness, but I just fell in love with it probably 10 years ago, and I haven't stopped. So it feels good to feel good.
It's just part of your basic every day.
You got good height too, so you're
Pretty
like,
much, yeah.
I'm always jealous of people that are over 5'4".
I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
But technically, you can be in good shape whether you're 8 feet or 5 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The key is you also have to have somewhat of a diet. You can't eat fast food. You can't go to Burger King and McDonald's, which some people, they might once a week. I don't. And my food isn't processed. There's nothing wrong with me eating one sandwich a day because it's good protein. The roast beef is great protein.
Right.
There's like 40 grams of protein in a Bing, and I grab myself a protein bar the same day, or a protein shake. So you just got to stay away from those fast food restaurants.
Right.
Processed food
And
like
keeping
McNugget.
yourself busy is
Yeah,
also
you
a
don't
good
want to eat
idea.
that stuff.
Last thing on fitness, so I cannot quit drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh, so
I
does it
love a
kill
good
it.
Coke.
No.
That's
I
so.
know.
Look,
Promise yourself you can do it. Go without a soda for 30 days. I've done
You've
that.
done
I've
it.
actually,
You've done it.
I've actually. I shouldn't say this online, but I've promised myself not to eat bread for 30 days, just because I wanted to work on my abs, and it works.
So what are you putting on this?
Salad. Put roast beef
sandwich?
over a salad.
Okay.
I do try to drink
Greek
more of
salad.
what is that? What do you buy? The polar seltzer thing?
Yeah.
That's just carbonated water, basically,
Yeah.
and then squeeze a lime in it.
Yeah, soda's the worst.
Soda's the worst.
I'll drink one soda a month.
Well, God bless you. You're my idol. All right, so we've been talking to Rich Monsini. He's the owner of Angelo's Roast Beef, where you can get lunch at 5 Main Street or on 1st Street, or how do we just say? Leiden Street in beautiful downtown.
It's worth the trip. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing. And you can sit indoors or outdoors. This has been the 1620 Today podcast. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or at 1620 Today. We want to thank our guest, Rich Monsini, for joining us. Thank you, Rich.
And go see Chaotic.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna go.
Chaotic, yes.
Chaotic
Check out our page.
or coin
toss.
toss.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Rich.
Thank you. Very
Thank
much.
you.
That's
This has
great.
been episode 6. We'll
Bye,
see you
guys.
again. Bye-bye.
Happy Memorial Day.